Hi, welcome back to another episode of Small Bites. I'm Monique Champagne. I'm a therapist here at The Gracious Mind. Today's topic is positive psychology. We're doing a second round of this. This is a topic that I use a lot in my work, and I notice can have some really positive benefits when I work with clients who implement some positive psychology techniques. In particular, today we're going to be talking about strengths. If you've joined us here before, here on YouTube, then you're familiar with our Small Bites Live, possibly on Instagram. So every Wednesday at 12 Central Standard Time, we talk about this same topic on Instagram Live with you, and we get to kind of hear your comments and interact with you, which is always really exciting. We love this Small Bite series because we get to provide lots of different tips and tricks on mental health techniques that you can use in your own life without having to go to therapy. Therapy is not always accessible for everyone, and it's also not the only way to be introspective and to learn more about yourself and to implement these mental health tools. You may have seen our previous videos on positive psychology. So last time we talked about flow, and then we will also have more upcoming positive psychology techniques to share with you. But today we're talking specifically about strengths, which is just one aspect of the positive psychology field. What we know about positive psychology is that it allows us to not look for a happy life. We're not kind of seeking to have happiness at every point of our life, but we're seeking more meaningfulness, more value, kind of taking the things that we have in life and using those to strengthen our positive experiences. This is certainly not to minimize or negate any negative experiences you're having or any mental health struggles or experiences of oppression or kind of systemic discrimination. So we certainly don't want to minimize those, and I would encourage you to work on processing those in a place that feels safe and comfortable for you. But we do want to emphasize that positive psychology can bring about a lot of really good things in our life. And helps us recognize those things and maybe reframe those challenges in a different way. So you may hear the term strengths and weaknesses. The word weaknesses, I don't really like so much. It kind of has a negative connotation and make us feel bad about ourselves. And in general, we tend to be more aware of the weaknesses that we hold. So I like to call them areas of growth. It gives it a little bit of a reframe that helps me hold that in a way that allows me to make room for growth, but then also appreciate where I'm at now. And so we know from the research that when we're able to reframe our thoughts into a strengths-based perspective, that we experience less anxiety at work. There's this sense of autonomy and a sense of control over our world when we are reframing it in a way that we're looking at our strengths, using those strengths to help us cope with struggles and problems that we face in our world. So I'm going to give you 3 specific challenges in this video today related to strengths-based psychology. The first challenge is to identify 10 strengths. If this feels like a really big task and it's kind of hard to pin down and think about some strengths of yours, you may want to consider a place where you are your most comfortable. Maybe it's with your best friend, or maybe you're really good at work. And you want to kind of use those environments as a place to start analyzing your strengths and what feels good. Something that may be coming up for you is that you may not have a lot of vocabulary around strength. Maybe that's not modeled a lot and you haven't had a lot of exposure to looking at things in a strengths-based perspective. So I'm going to give you a list of tons of words, and this is not a conclusive list. There are tons and tons more descriptors for positive characteristics. But I'm going to give you a big list of words, and as you're listening, hopefully you've got your journal in hand or a blank piece of paper, whatever you've got nearby, and you're writing down some things that feel like they fit for you, even if they just fit a little bit. Ambitious, artistic, brave, caring, creative, dedicated, energetic, friendly, honest, humorous, intelligent, kind, logical, optimistic, patient, spontaneous, thoughtful, visionary, warm, wise. Wow, those are a ton of words. And like I said, that's not even all of them. If there's another word that feels like it fits a little bit better for you, feel free to change the ones that I've given you. So the next thing that I want you to do is to rate these top 10 that you've written down. It's pretty common for somebody to say, well, I'm not kind all the time. And that makes sense. We're not one consistent thing all the time. We're changing beings every day. And so what that might look like for you is to put down maybe a 7 or an 8 on this list. So a 0 would be that I have none of these skills at all. I don't really express this strength in my life. And then 10 would be I do this thing all of the time. Another way you can rate them is to kind of put them in order, to rank them. Which of them is most important to you to have? And which of them do you have but maybe doesn't feel as important to you? Another thing you can do is look around at your tribe, your friends and family that are close to you, and identify the strengths that they have and what you admire in them. The third thing I want you to do is identify which of these strengths you want to increase or strengthen. Which strength do you want to strengthen? You may want to go back to the original list and add some more that aren't here in your top 10. Maybe you want to be a little bit more creative and artistic in your life, and you rated that strength as a 3 or a 5. What can you do to increase that strength just one more notch there on your rating scale? So that may mean taking some time to be brave in your life and trying some new creative artistic things, and then going back and kind of reevaluating how you feel about that strength. Another way you can do that is if you initially thought about one of those strengths that you use at work, is to consider how that strength can be applied to other areas of your life. So are you organized at home, but you're not organized at work, or vice versa, and you want to increase that strength? That could be something that you can go out and be a good scientist yourself and go measure your strength and your movement in this area. So kind of final reminder, I just want to remind you to be gentle with yourself. This world gives us so many challenges and adversities that are outside of our control. And while there are tons of things that we could use support and help in the world, there are lots of things that are kind of going wrong and things that happen to us every day. I want to encourage you to use positive psychology in your life. And hopefully by going through these 3 activities, you found a little bit more meaning and some more sense of identity and what you have going for you in the face of adversities. One final note about positive psychology. Some of the initial research done around positive psychology and the benefits of it was actually done from the understanding of learned helplessness. This is the idea that sometimes we can move through life and we are taught and told and experience the world in a way that helps us feel, that kind of encourages us to feel helpless and like we don't have a lot of control over the world. And so positive psychology shows us that if we can learn helplessness, that we can also learn strengths and we can learn to identify ourselves and move through the world in a way that is meaningful and valuable to us. Here at The Gracious Mind, we believe really strongly in the idea that therapy and psychology can be a thing that we can use in our daily lives to really help us heal. The traditional view of mental health care sometimes takes a perspective of really focusing on symptoms and focusing on solving problems and finding out what's wrong. And again, we here at The Gracious Mind really believe that while that is a benefit, there are lots of positive benefits to using some of these other techniques, engaging in other ways of healing in your life. So if you've watched this video and you found that you want to explore this more with a therapist, reach out to us. We do offer low-cost therapy services and also some referrals if you're not local. And also check us out on all of our social media outlets. We're really excited about a care package project that we've got coming out. We each here at The Gracious Mind, we put our hands on these envelopes and we have been filling them with really exciting, fun, creative things to share with you all. So if you're needing a little bit of a pick-me-up, come on over to our website. Our care packages start at about $5. And then if know of a friend or a family member, a loved one that can benefit from one of these packages as well, come on over to our gift shop and we'd be really excited to put together a package for you. I'm glad you could join us today for our Small Bites topic on positive psychology and using strengths to help you face adversities in life. We look forward to seeing you Wednesday at 12 Central Standard Time on Instagram Live to talk a little bit more about it.